What is up, Commanders Nation? Greg Sykes here, hosting the Washington Football Maniacs. Today, we are going to shut down the ridiculous narrative that just doesn't seem to go away. And I mentioned it in the last video. Let's just get into it. Well, ever since Jaden Daniels was drafted by the Washington Commanders and brought in a new regime, the media has been doing whatever it takes to stir up some type of controversy for the Washington Commanders. Could Washington move on from Terry McLaurin? They ask. And of course, is he part of the rebuild? Which wasn't really a rebuild if you ask Dan Quinn. It was more of a retool, I think is what he said. Um, or is he a trade chip? Oh, Terry McLaurin being a trade chip? But then again, of course, we look at guys that we didn't think we were going to get rid of. Montez Sweat was one I was very shocked that we got rid of. Wasn't so shocked that we got rid of, Chase Young. But it's Terry McLaurin. I mean, he has been real successful here for the last several seasons with the Washington Commanders. But let's talk about how every year star receivers end up in trade rumors that never happen. Now, some of the guys I'm going to tell you about, yes, maybe a couple of years after that, they did eventually get traded, but a lot of the buzz during these years where there was a lot of talk of them getting traded, nothing happened. Number one, Stephon Diggs. Back in 2023, the media said he was unhappy. Does this sound familiar? He was unhappy in Buffalo. He was headed out the door. And what happened? He stayed. 2022, our very own Deebo Samuel, when he was with the San Francisco 49ers, he scrubbed his social media, nothing that had to do with the 49ers, and he demanded a trade. Now, Terry McLaurin hasn't done any of that, but Deebo Samuel certainly did. This was in 2022. But the Niners paid him, and guess what? He didn't leave. He didn't leave until this year, and now he's a Washington Commander. So maybe he did, but it just took a few years. But again, he did not leave when all the media was saying he was going to. That same year in 22, DK Metcalf. Rumors were flying that the Seahawks were in rebuild mode and that they were just, fire sale. They were going to get rid of Metcalf. They were going to get rid of all these guys. They're going to rebuild. Instead, what did they do? They locked him up with a new big deal. So they kept DK Metcalf. Chris Godwin, 4 years ago in Tampa, tagged, rumored to be traded, because often it seems like you do have players who, when they get tagged, they're probably out the door, just trying to see what you're going to get for them. But then he signed a long-term deal with Tampa. These are just a few guys that just come to mind when I talk about, the media, kicking up a stink, kicking up an uproar about a player who is going to be headed out the door. They're so sure about it. And you're seeing, articles about what does the deal look like with Terry McLaurin going to, the Seattle Seahawks, or going to the Minnesota Vikings, or the, San Francisco 49ers. And can the Patriots get this deal done? And then things like that. It's talking about a deal, trade deals for Terry McLaurin. And Terry McLaurin has not said anything about he wants to be traded at all. But these guys I mentioned, all these guys had media driven speculation that led to absolutely nothing, at least nowhere at the time. Because elite receivers, they just don't grow on trees. And now you can argue, is Terry McLaurin elite? Okay, I will say this. I've watched football for over 40, 5 years. Okay. And during those, okay, maybe 44 years, 45 years, I was very young when I got into watching football, right? And I can tell you that there have been some fantastic receivers that I have seen play that were just generational. Jerry Rice being one of them, Steve Largent, Art Monk, um, just guys like that. And of course, Randy Moss. So Terry McLaurin may not be up there with the likes of like Jerry Rice, for instance, but he is. I think he's knocking on the door, and I think that he could be one of the best receivers that has ever donned the burgundy and gold, and that's saying a lot because we had guys like Art Monk, Gary Clark, Ricky Sanders, Charlie Downtown, Charlie Brown. We've had some excellent wide receivers. Pierre Garcon, in the kind of more of a later modern era. Um, Deshaun Jackson, who was here for a little bit. I mean, we had some fantastic receivers. But I think honestly, Terry McLaurin could be one of the best. I would love to see him stay here for the long haul and retire a Washington Commander. Um, but to me, Terry McLaurin isn't just a wide receiver one, he's a Commander's cultural cornerstone, right? Drafted in 2019. He's been a captain since year two. He's played with nine quarterbacks. Nine quarterbacks. Never complained. And honestly, I mean, he continues to produce at high levels. New regimes, don't trade away their best leaders, they build around them. I would say new regimes that are successful regimes who know how to be successful. They don't get rid of a player just because, okay, yeah, he's good, but we could probably build someone better, you know, develop them and things like that. You have some people who are football fans who believe that if your players are over the age of 26, they're over the hill. And I'm like, wow, so you're talking about players should only play the game of football for about 3 years and then they should be out the door. I mean, that's basically what you're saying. And I don't know how many times in my 40 plus years of watching football, both college and the NFL, have I seen players, maybe not so much college, of course, but in the NFL, I've seen players well into their 30s play better football in their 30s than they did in their 20s. So, I don't know why people insist on kicking the baby out with the bathwater, but you know, you have people like that. Let's not forget, okay? Washington has over what $70 million in cap space, I believe it was. So, paying McLaurin and building a roster around Daniels. I mean, I believe that's the plan. I don't think that it's just speculation. Of course, it's the plan for Jaden Daniels, but I think it's also a plan for Terry McLaurin as well. Um, so here's the thing: media outlets, they need headlines, right? They need headlines. They need clicks, just like I need clicks. I need people to click on this video and watch it. They need engagement. I need you guys to throw comments in the comment sections. I need you to hit that like button, things like that. Um, and nothing stirs the pot like a fake trade scenario, right? Involving a star player, Terry to the Patriots. Could the Bills make a move? Come on. These takes are lazy, in my opinion. Okay? These takes are lazy. They ignore context, cap penalties, or realities, locker room chemistry, leadership value. I mean, some of the intangible things that you just cannot get with another guy in that position. I mean, it's not all about physical ability. It's not all about athletic attributes. It's also about leadership, and it's about someone who helps to build a culture, helps to build locker room chemistry. This is Terry McLaurin up and down. you know, you have some people who are just so keyed in on um, what success looks like. What success looks like to them is all about the ability, athletic ability, the physical prowess, all of that stuff. Just like in any other type of field, your success deals with your dedication to the company, your late nights working on stuff. You know, nothing about leadership, nothing like that. It's all about what I can do for you. And I guess that works for some people, but for me, I always feel that leadership, building a great chemistry, a great culture in the workplace, just like it is for the team. I think sometimes that means a lot more than what people think, honestly. Um, and just because a team is rebuilding, and I keep saying they're not really rebuilding, they retooled. But it doesn't mean that you should just gut some of your great players. And Terry McLaurin, I think, is a great player. Other people would disagree and say he's good, but he's not great. I think he's pretty great. You go back and watch a lot of the plays he made. Yes, he dropped some passes. So did Jerry Rice. Jerry Rice dropped some passes. You don't think he did? You didn't watch football. You probably weren't even alive back then to watch the great Jerry Rice, but he dropped some passes. The greats do it. Tim Brown dropped passes. Art Monk dropped some passes. I mean, it happens. But you don't remember that. What you remember is what they did right. And Terry McLaurin's done more right for this organization than he has made mistakes. I think just he's essential to continuing this fresh start for this franchise, this organization. I really do. So I tell you what, the next time you see one of those trade Terry McLaurin articles, you should just laugh it off. Keep scrolling because it's a bunch of nonsense. He's not going anywhere. And the only uniform he'll be wearing in 2025 and beyond, at least for the next few years, it's going to be burgundy and gold. It's not going to be, Patriots colors, Dallas colors, San Francisco colors. Oh, no, 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 no. It's going to be burgundy gold. You can take that to the bank. So, guess what? Drop a comment below and let me know, or what would you say actually to the media that's pushing this narrative about Terry and these rumors that they're like, oh, there's stronger rumors. They're building up. I just know there's rumors out there. What would you say to the media who's making up these articles? To me, I'm like, dude, wishful thinking. If you're not a Washington Commanders fan, not going to happen. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe, please, if you are enjoying this and other videos. And please go watch some of the older videos as well. Um, and please don't forget to hit that notification bell because if you don't, you're not going to be notified whenever I release any other videos, and I plan on releasing a bunch. We're getting closer. We're getting a step closer to training camp, folks. And so this channel, along with I know some of the other YouTube podcasts out there, are going to be gearing up for the season. But you just stick right here, and I think you're going to be entertained, if nothing more, right? Folks, take care. Hell to the Washington Commanders. Hell to the Redskins. I will see you in the next one.